can try it.
A few weeks back, we took a look at a 1988 Specialized Hardrock in relation to budget bikes.
It's steel.
While this was an extreme and dated option, I wanted to follow up with something a bit more modern and practical. This is a 2013 Specialized Hardrock Disc. At $500 new, you can now pick one of these up for less than $300, and it's a pretty great starting platform. With a strong aluminum frame, decent low-end components, front suspension, mechanical disc brakes, and a comfortable seating position, this bike has basically everything you need to hit some trails. But a lot has changed in the past 5 years since this bike was made. It has 26-inch wheels, 3 front chainrings paired to a 7-speed cassette, relatively steep head angle by today's standards, and it's a hardtail. All pretty uncommon sights these days. But that doesn't make it worthless, just different. After taking a look at the stock tires and pedals, I decided to swap those parts with something a little grippier. I suggest upgrading these things first, as they are the contact point between you and the bike, as well as the bike to the ground. With these upgrades complete, let's get on our helmets and head to the trail. Almost immediately you can feel how nimble this bike is. With the smaller 26-inch wheels and short handlebars, it's quite easy to handle tight situations. This is a great combo on smooth, twisty switchbacks, but once the terrain gets rougher, you better have a great line because things are about to get squirrely. While we're on the subject of the front end, I must address this fork. It is awful. It has 80 millimeters of travel, provides no real cushion, and rebounds faster than a pogo stick. I'd actually feel more confident with a pogo stick as my fork than this thing. It has a preload adjustment that I would fiddle with, but could never tell a difference. If you end up buying a bike like this and want to hit harder stuff, please consider a fork upgrade. While the brakes on this bike are decent, they did feel like XTs compared to the rim brakes on the 1988 Hardrock. I only had one instance where I went into panic mode on a downhill and thought I was going to get well acquainted with some bushes. Always test out your brakes before sending it downhill. I don't really care too much about shifters and derailers. As long as they shift when I push the button, I'm happy, and these did. It was kind of cool going back to a 3x drivetrain. It provides a true variety of gearing options, but I nearly forgot about the left trigger until I came to Caliche Hill. I said to myself, why am I approaching this hill like a total maniac? Much better. But enough about components and what this bike lacks. Let's go ahead and talk about what it does well. As you'd expect from a hardtail, it is responsive as hell. I always feel slightly faster on a hardtail, because they typically are. After spending a few hours on it, you even adjust to the lack of rear suspension over the technical stuff, because the sheer fun factor overshadows any comfort issues. I really thought I would hate the geometry on this bike after riding the slacked out Jeff C for so long, but it honestly wasn't bad. Pointing it down a steep descent was soul crushing, but for almost everything else, it was pretty fun. I even found it easier to maneuver on these death-defying ledge rides. Also, as you'd expect from a hardtail, it climbed really well. While I still couldn't defeat my arch nemesis, Caliche Hill, it was incredibly rewarding to sprint up smaller climbs with relative ease. The wheels on this bike do have a smaller internal width than those on the 88 Hardrock, and while that doesn't help the jittery front end, they felt fairly tough sandwiched between rough rocks and my weight. Speaking of weight, this bike is pretty heavy. I didn't get the chance to weigh it, but it felt about the same, if not heavier than my Jeff C. For $300 or less though, you can't expect a lot of time or money was put into weight-saving research and development. The Specialized Hardrock is a humble hero in the mountain bike world. I'm willing to bet a lot of you have had experience on this bike or one similar to it. Let me know in the comments what budget bikes you started on or currently ride. With any budget purchase, you do get what you pay for. This bike is clearly a more viable option over a vintage mountain bike or any bike from Walmart, and it would be a great platform for beginners or someone looking to upgrade parts over time. However, always ride within your abilities, wear safety gear, and have realistic expectations. If you live in Whistler, this isn't the bike for you. Thank you to my brother Alex for letting me borrow his bike. I truly appreciate you allowing me to potentially destroy your bike. Also, thanks to you, the viewer, for checking out this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so. New adventure on wheels awaits you weekly, and we'd love to have you here. So until next week, everyone, stay rowdy within reason.
It is very nimble. Morning.